And then when you see the eyes pop up, you know you on
When I see the who?
eyes,
See, the who?
eyeballs.
Oh, them eyes.
Okay, you on.
All righty. I just did a 7 o'clock, and you can look for the video. I did a 7 p.m. info commercial explaining the 11 benefits of the 501c3. Tonight was the last night of the series. The series started March 9th, and what I did was I did a recap on what was covered March 9th all the way up to yesterday, March 16th. And today was the last day. And it was exhilarating. Um, um, I enjoyed that. Facebook Live is not too bad. Um, not bad. So next month we're going to be looking at grants. Uh, Throughout the year, I'm going to be doing a series of info commercials covering different topics in the non-for-profit arena. I'm going to be sharing information that I hope that will be beneficial. Okay, I got my glasses on. That means it's book reading. Before I would change my tops. I'm like, all I gotta do is put my glasses on, and they know that it's book reading. I had two people, now they gone. Well, anyway, on to the book reading. All right, the book that I'm reading is Ritty Ann Overcoming the Odds, published by McClure Publishing Company. You can purchase the book there or go to Amazon, Walmart, Borders. And here we go. One hot summer at school, Ritty met a boy. He was cute. She even fantasized about kissing him. But she remembered how Big Mama said, never let a boy kiss you. If you let a boy kiss you, you'll come up pregnant. Well, later in life, Ritty would find out Big Mama left out a whole lot of details, and on purpose. Anyway, the boy chased Ritty all the way home. Ritty slammed the door and leaned up against it while heaving heavily to grasp her breath. The kiss came. Coincidentally, not long after, Ritty's stomach began to cramp. She went to the bathroom to find a red spot of blood. Ritty panicked. She changed her underwear, but spots kept reappearing. Soon, Ritty was out of underwear completely. It was time for Ritty to tell Big Mama about her condition. She was pregnant. Big Mama was sitting in the midst of a women family powwow council in the kitchen. It was their usual thing to do. In the midst of the solemn Amen corner, Ritty eased upward to Big Mama and whispered, I got blood in my panties. Mama, I'm pregnant, Ritty confessed. Big Mama broke out with a joyful laugh and announced, Hey everybody, Ritty got her period. All eyes in the room narrowly stared at Ritty. The kitchen was filled with laughter about the idea of Ritty being pregnant at the age of 8 because a little boy named Johnny chased her home. Medea was sitting, snapping pole beans, then started standing at the sink to wash the beans for cooking. Big Dot sat at the kitchen table across from where Medea was sitting. Every 15 seconds, Big Dot started with, Well, I guess I'll go. While clutching her car keys but never getting up from her chair. My dear daughter, Miss J, also known as Belle, Kat's sister, stood in the doorway talking about her eldest wayward daughter, Dab, who was bringing human litter home. Miss J had just set up an appointment with Big Mom to beat the living daylights out of her for disgracing the Christian family name with her heathenistic ways and her lifestyle as a fornicator. Cat head dropped with empathy. Riddy was shocked, embarrassed, but futile. She took a step backwards, away from all the laughing faces, and thought, period, period. What is a period? The women folks swooped in on her and began to congratulate and welcome her into womanhood. To Riddy, the whole thing was a blur. Womanhood, she kept thinking and wondering and accepting hugs. I'm a woman now. Big Mama pulled Riddy into the bathroom. She pinned a sheet around and between her legs like a diaper. Big Mama gave Riddy a note with the words sanitary belt and Kodak written on it. She instructed her to go to the drugstore for the belt and then to the certified grocery store for Kodak. Finally, Riddy made it to the drugstore. She told the sales clerk, who was a woman, that she needed a belt. Then Riddy entered the certified grocery store and saw Diane with her huge French roll, ringing purchases on the register. She glanced at Ned at the liquor section. Bobby the butcher was rinsing down the greens and other vegetables. Riddy went, okay, I got a pop up here, you all. Riddy went from aisle to aisle looking for this other item. She was going into another circle a third time when she finally noticed a box of Kodak on a top shelf in the back of the store. Riddy stood on her tiptoes and made several attempts to get the box down, and then stopped with a deep sigh. A long arm came out of nowhere. It was the butcher Bobby. He smiled at Riddy as he gave her the box. Riddy dropped her head, embarrassed, and quickly walked away. Upon returning home, Houston was in the bathroom watching out the tub when Riddy entered with the box behind her back. He smiled and reached behind her and grabbed the box. Riddy began to cry, helpless and embarrassed. When Houston spied the pitiful look on her face, he gave the box back to Riddy, patted her head, and left her with a sympathetic smile on his face. After an inspection by Big Mama, Riddy was led to her custodian bedroom where she stood to watch Big Mom remove a book from the back of the drawer that was covered with a brown paper bag. Riddy was given a book and told to sit on a milk crate outside the house on the back porch and read it to herself. This was her introduction to education. Riddy followed Big Mama's instruction. She opened the book and screamed when she saw things that she had never seen before. However, she did recognize a few body parts that resembled hers. Back in the day, women did not share about menstruals to the young girls or about sex. Riddy returned the book in an attempt to revive herself after the shock. Big Mama and Riddy eyes met, but not one word was exchanged. This experience amounted to Riddy education about sex. Alrighty, we talking about coming of age. We have all have had this experience. We are adults here. And we have each had our own coming of age experience with the women, and my daughter is crunching. She's like, Mama, please, you're not going to talk about that on social media. I'm like, it's life. It's a part of life. You know, there's some things you don't want to talk about. Uh-oh, I done lost 3 people. Lord have mercy. You don't want to talk about death, but, that, you know, it's a part of life. You know, you see 2 different generations. One generation just give little bits and pieces of information, and as you grow older, you have to find things out for yourself, and unfortunately, you end up going to the wrong people or getting the wrong information. So here, okay, true story. I knew a guy named Johnny, and back in grammar school, if a boy like you, I don't know what it is with them. They don't know how to say "I like you." Even now, men don't know how to say "I like you." You know, back in the day, they pull your hair, pull on you, snatch on you, hit you in the head with a newspaper. And once a week, our class would get a newspaper. So I knew I had a beating coming. Johnny always beat me with this newspaper and pulled my hair. That was his way of saying he liked me. And then one day, Big Mama told me, okay, some of you might not be familiar with the term Big Mama. Okay, some people might look at it as derogatory description, but it's not. In the black culture, especially with the older generation, the family matriarch, that was a title. Just like President of the United States is a title, Senator, Representative, those are titles. Well, in the black family, Big Mama, that's a title. She is equivalent to the President of the United States. She ran it. Yep. Everybody went to Big Mama when they was in trouble. Council. Big Mama fed the neighborhood. People would come over to Big Mama house. If your house didn't have nothing to eat, you just back then our doors was unlocked. I'm talking late 50s, early 60s. The front door was unlocked, the back door was unlocked. It was nothing for people to walk into your house for a meal. So Big Mama was the community mother. Big Mama was everybody's mother, not just her mate, not just her family, but she was the mother of the whole block in the community. If you was hungry, you would go to Big Mama. So Big Mama is not a derogatory title, okay? Big Mama is usually the eldest female member of a family. And so, Big Mama, she was the law enforcement. We didn't have what's going on now. She was the law enforcement, she was the judge, and she was the jury, and she was the hangman. And the executioner if she needed to be. Big Mama's was tough, you know. And I had a Big Mama, and her name was Anna White. She was my guardian. She got me when I was 3 months old, and I was an arm baby, and she lived to see me reach 22 years of age, and then she passed on. And there's a day that don't go by that I don't think of her. Some people say I look like her. You know, I had a brother in Florida that said I look like her. I don't know, but she taught me a lot of things, and I'm eternally grateful for my Big Mama. So in the book, we're seeing an interaction between Big Mama and Riddy. Uh, Big Mama told me that if a boy ever kissed me, I would be pregnant. But she left out a whole lot. And Johnny chased me home, and it was such a shock to me. It started my cycle. I'll say that. And, you know, so welcome to womanhood. You know, your body changes, as I was saying, the coming of age for me. Men have coming of age, through their wet dreams. Men have coming of age. We have coming of age, through the cycle, the menstrual cycle. So I know I'm talking to an adult audience. We all adult here. Men know about periods just like women. You have sisters, you have nieces, you have cousins, you have girlfriends, you have wives. So, that's biology, physiology, anatomy, and physiology. And on that note, that's life. So, here, um, in the black culture, and probably other culture, women get together, and in my household, they would get together. And the meeting place was the kitchen. Even though you had a living room, it was something about the kitchen that attract the women. So while they're in the kitchen, they always cook. It just seems like when women get together, it's always around food and cooking, and they're in the kitchen. So here in the kitchen, I remember that day as though it happened yesterday. Big Mama was in the kitchen, Mud Deer, that's another matriarch of the family. Some family have a Big Mama or a Mud Deer. Some family have both, a Big Mama and a Mud Deer. In my case, I had both. Okay. So the other matriarch, Big Mama, Anna White, was my great grandmother. She was my mother. She was my mother. Okay. So, and she raised me. I actually had the opportunity to talk and to know my great grandmother on my mother's side. Some people don't even know who their grandparents or who their grandmother or grandfather is. I had the blessing and the privilege of knowing my mom, grandmother, and great grandmother. However, it was my great grandmother that raised me from 3 months, and she lived until I was 22. Okay. We had 22 years together. Wonderful years. And in the kitchen, back to the kitchen, the powwow. I call it a powwow because in the kitchen, people talk about different topics. So Big Mama's in the kitchen, Madira's in the kitchen, and then I have a favorite aunt, Dorothy Martin, who has gone on to glory to be with the Lord about 3 years ago. Dorothy Martin. She's in the kitchen. She's the one. And I tell you, this is the real deal. She's sitting at the kitchen table with keys in her hand, and I'm standing up watching this whole scene. Had no idea that the memory would come back and I would write it in a book. I'm seeing all this action in the kitchen. She had just got off of work and she stopped by to see her mother, which was Big Mama, and her sister, which was Madea, and she was visiting. And in the visit, when women get together, they exchange news, what's going on in everybody's household. And so she's saying, uh-oh, I'm by myself now. Lord, have mercy. Mm-mm-mm. She's saying, I got to go home now. I got to go home. I got to cook dinner for Ernest. And she's saying, and then the topic would get real juicy. Somebody throw out something, and it's too juicy to leave right now. Oh, I got to stay here. There. Then she's like, oh, I got to go back. I got to go home. And so she's in the kitchen. My mother is in the kitchen. Okay, so we got Big Mama, my dear, Aunt Dorsey, my mother, and then another aunt, my mother's sister, Dorothy Bell, who affectionately is known as Miss J. Miss J. Okay, she's in the kitchen. And then they talking about various topics. What's going on in the community, what's going on in their own household. And Miss J just made an appointment for one of my cousins to get a whooping. Okay. Because she had came up pregnant. So uh so they talking about what day she should come downstairs to get her whooping because she lived upstairs. Then the topic swings over to me because I let Big Mama know that I am pregnant. I'm 8 years old and I'm pregnant, but that is not the case. She just never told me that when I reach a certain age, I will be coming of age and will start the menstrual cycle, which was a normal process, period, for female. So, anyway, I remember running home and just like yesterday, I remember slamming the door, locking it, laying back, breathing real hard, then having this pain in my stomach. Oh my goodness. And then voila, I have now entered womanhood. I as a woman. Like Sojourner Truth, ain't I a woman? I as a woman, a woman. So anyway, I know you all had a long day and I'm gonna sign off here. And once again, this book is titled Riddy Ann Overcome the Odds. It's an autobiography. This book can be purchased from her publishing company or Amazon or Walmart. This book comes in hardback, paperback, ebook. The book, if you get the paperback, there will be pictures. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Some of you were not live with me. I know you'll be viewing this in the midnight hour. Maybe you can't sleep. I have actually had one Facebook person tell me that they can sleep. Well, for those that have problems sleeping at night, you can tune in and you can hear the book reading. Let's see, tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow, 7. The book reading will be at 7 p.m. I'm going to move the book reading to 7 p.m. because I don't have a class on that day anymore. Not until May 13th. I don't have a class that day. And, I don't know, just want to get started a little earlier. So I don't have a class. So the book reading from here on out will be at 7 o'clock, except for the weekend and on Mondays. And there will be 11 sessions. This is book read number 2. So we'll have 9 more sessions. And I will be skipping around, covering different things. The first book reading was talking about a tragedy, you know, talking about tragedy. We all at one time have had some type of adversity. We talked about loss, how my father had lost his best friend. And this session is about coming of an age. And this book is filled with stories about abandonment, betrayal, adultery, you name it is in here. And I will be skipping around, reading different sessions. Once again, the book is titled Riddy Ann Overcoming the Odds. I posted a review on yesterday, someone that purchased the book. So in days to come, I will be posting different reviews. People that get this book, they read it in 2 days. They say they can't take it down. I had one person who told me that after she read it, she had to go lay down. She said I had to go lay down after I read that book. I had to lay down. I had to lay down. So I said all this to say, you would not be bored. You would not be bored at all. I promise you, you would not be bored. As uh, the publisher wrote in the back, a roller coaster. A roller coaster ride. There's some highs, then there's some lows. Okay. But I'm still here. You are still here. You have a story to tell. I want to encourage you during this time, the coronavirus. I want to encourage you. This is your time. Write your story. Write it out. Don't look at, well, I don't have the money. Oh, I don't have a publisher. Well, first thing first, write the story. Get it on paper. And then the money will come. Then the publisher will come. Then the story will be told in a written format. Okay. In closing, I want to encourage everybody that your jobs have closed down, businesses have shut down, schools have shut down, and you're home. We are pretty much pre-martial law. Pre-martial law. And a lot of people are really stressed out. And in my last, let me see if I can find it. I'll probably have to go by memory. I can't find that paper. Let's see if it fell. In my last show, when I was talking about the 501c3, I gave some tips, some things that people can do to hang on to their sanity. And one of them was to pray. Pray and pray some more. Another one was use this time to catch up. There have been things that you have put on hold and you said, I'll get to it tomorrow. Tomorrow hadn't even came yet. That tomorrow, that statement of I'll do it tomorrow, end up being a week passing, a month, a year, and then some years. And you like, I'll get to it tomorrow. Well, let today be your tomorrow. And start working on those things that you have put up. Then I also said use the time to reach out to people that you haven't talked to for a while. Friends, family, reconnect with people. Said use the time to open up a business. You got to be kidding. Open up a business. Have you heard business close? Well, let me let you know something. A lot of millionaires, a lot of business people emerge out of situations like this. When this passes, you're going to see a whole new group of entrepreneur and wealthy people, millionaires will come out. See, what happened is people look for business opportunities. So while this is going on, you can look for business opportunities, but don't get greedy. I know we all heard about the guy, been all on the news. I'm not telling you something you don't know, that went and bought all that hand sanitizer. Went on Amazon, it was going to charge $20. Amazon kicked them off, and then they got stuck with 17,000 cases of hand sanitizer. So they did a good thing. They donated it. So in the process of looking for business opportunity, don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Yes, make a profit, but don't be greedy. Go into business with the mindset of helping someone, but yet get a profit. But don't get greedy. Also mentioned you could use this time to start a non-for-profit. hmm Do your research. Contact me, Dr. Eurydice Moore. I could be reached at 773-544-5341. 773-544-5341. You can reach me there. Check me out at Facebook and let me know. And you can check all my videos to know about the non-for-profit. And then, if you're interested in starting a non-for-profit, there's a book available, Non-for-Profit Business. And you can pick this up from Mercure Company, Publishing Company, Amazon, Walmart, Borders, and then there's other places, online bookstores that you can order this book and go and pick it up from the store. Okay. And some of the other things I mentioned is, okay, you might say, well, there is absolutely no money, lady. Haven't you heard jobs at some people home and they don't have paychecks? Now, there's a few jobs that's paying people, but then on the whole, there's a lot of people that went home and they don't have no paycheck and they don't know where their next money is coming. Well, you can barter, okay? Make a list of things that you need. Then look and see among your family and friends, neighbors, associates, and see who have what you need. Then look at yourself and see what can you offer. Okay, let's say I have butter and this person have sugar. I need sugar, they need butter. Okay, let's trade off. Let's do a trade. I shared in my earlier Facebook Live at 7 p.m. that I have done bartering. And when all said and done, the value of money will probably come to nothing and we'll all be bartering. And what do that involve? You have something that I need. I have something that you need. Let's exchange. Make a list of what you need. Identify people that can provide what you need. And then what do you have that they need? And then you can make a trade off. I mentioned how my daughter was in college and I had a client that wanted a non-for-profit. This was some years ago. And she had a limousine service. I didn't have cash flow. She didn't have no cash flow. So we came to an agreement that I would set up a non-for-profit and that she would provide limousine service for my daughter's college graduation. Then there I had another incident, and then there have been many more where I had another person that wanted to do a non-for-profit, and she was a dressmaker. She made 2 dresses for me. I set up a non-for-profit. So it ain't all about money, people. It's not all about money. You could do some bartering. And those of us that are born again kingdom, we need to stand on the word of God, work the principles. A good principle is sowing and weeping. Okay, I shared this in one of my videos where a lady she desired a pair of shoes and she asked her husband, he told her no. And so she's like, she took her best pair out of the closet and shined it up and she gave it to someone. Then a couple of months later, this person came to her and said that he was a store owner and he wanted to know what size shoe she wore. And he said that he had a new shipment, the season had changed, and he had all these samples and he wanted to give them to her. And they was her shoe size. And she got 30 pairs of shoes. She sold 1 pair and she got 30. I'm talking about kingdom principle. Also, don't forget about tithes and offering. You know, you pay your tithes, you give your offering. Expect God to open the windows of heaven. I had a situation, and people think tithe is just money. No, back in the days, they tied their silver, their gold, and they tied their livestock. Okay, you could tithe your possessions, your shoes, dresses, whatever you have, whatever your possessions, jewelry, ring, blah, blah, blah. So one day I just tied everything in the house. I just counted, okay, counted up the dresses, okay, 10%, okay, I gotta give away 10 dresses, counted up the suit, okay, I gotta give away 2 suits. I just count, okay, counted up the shoes, okay, I gotta give away a pair. I just counted everything in the house. Living room, bathroom, just everything. And then I gave it away. And it wasn't a month. I received a phone call from a lady that told me she was moving. She was moving to Atlanta, Georgia, and she was just taking the main things. And she putting up the building, the family building for sale. And the family, it was a 2 flat building with a basement. And she said, I'm just taking the main thing. She said, you can have everything else. It took a whole week. It took a whole week for myself, Rita, and my niece Kim, who was living with me at that time. It took us a whole week, every day, 2 times. We were at that time we were living in Forest Park. We would drive from Forest Park to the west side of Chicago to this building, and then we would take a gang of stuff back to the house. And we had coats and shoes and dresses. We had uh, kitchen appliances and bathroom stuff and living room things for the living room, things for the bedroom, shoes, gym shoes, you name it, we had it, even down to a can of grease that I could grease my legs with. Okay, comb, brushes, you name it. Okay, tithing work, and then there's other principles in the Bible that can be worked. Remember, born again believers, we are in this world, but we are not of this world. We are part of the kingdom of God, God's government. Okay, so we have to operate according to his government. And while we're down here on earth, we are not to fear the government of man. You know, God will give us the wisdom that we need to navigate through any situation. God will give us the wisdom that we need to navigate. So those are a few things that I shared that you can do during this time. Write your book. You know, many of you already know that you got a story to tell. So you can use this time to sit down and write your book. Okay? You can read. Do some reading. Catch up on some reading. There's a lot of great novels, fictionists, real life, and fictionists and nonfiction. Fiction and nonfiction. You can read that. Um, Look up investment, study investment, put a business plan together. Spend time with God. Go through a word transfusion. That's what I'm doing. Just pumping myself with the word. You'd be surprised. You spend time in the word, you'll feel strong. You'll feel strengthened. So I want to thank you again for tuning in to this book reading. Uh, The book reading is based on the novel Ready Ann Overcoming the Odds, purchased from McCurr Publishing Company, Amazon, Borders, Walmart, other bookstores. You can purchase it online, order it, go and have it delivered to you, or go pick it up. Okay, so I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank my daughter Rita for being with me. She sat through both shows. And God bless, Godspeed, Don't worry. Move forward. Take care.